Hey Capricorn, welcome back. Before we dive in, take a deep breath with me because what I'm seeing in these cards is genuinely stunning. This is a general reading for entertainment purposes, so I'm interpreting the energy I see in these cards. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't, and remember this isn't meant to replace professional advice. But Capricorn, the energy I'm picking up here is electric. I pulled 10 cards for you, and what unfolded is a story of massive triumph, last-minute changes that completely shift your trajectory, and prosperity flowing in from directions you never anticipated. The cards are showing me someone who's been walking through what felt like an endless winter, and suddenly, the entire landscape is transforming. This isn't about small wins. This is about the kind of victory that changes how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. I'm getting this strong sense that some of you have been holding your breath, waiting for confirmation that your efforts matter, that your patience will pay off, that everything you've been building in the shadows is about to see the light. Well, consider this your confirmation. The universe has been watching, and it's about to deliver in ways that will leave you speechless. The first card that came forward is the Nine of Cups, and when I pulled this, I felt this wave of emotional satisfaction wash over the entire reading. This is traditionally called the wish fulfillment card, but what I'm seeing goes deeper than just getting what you want. The Nine of Cups shows a figure sitting with 9 golden cups arranged behind them, and there's this energy of someone who has every reason to be satisfied, every reason to feel proud. The cups are perfectly aligned, symbolizing wishes that have materialized, dreams that have taken form, emotional fulfillment that's real and tangible. What strikes me most is the sense of earned satisfaction. This isn't about luck or chance. This is about someone who put in the work, who stayed committed to their vision even when nobody else believed in it, who kept watering seeds that took forever to grow. From what I'm interpreting, you're entering a phase where your deepest wishes are manifesting, but not in some abstract spiritual way. This is concrete, material, visible success that you can point to and say, "This is what I built." I'm picking up that for many of you, there's been a specific goal or dream you've held close to your chest, something you didn't talk about much because you didn't want to jinx it or deal with other people's doubts. That dream is coming true, Capricorn. The Nine of Cups is confirmation that your emotional investment in your goals is about to pay dividends. What's really interesting here is how this card positions you as someone who has learned to define success on your own terms. You're not chasing someone else's version of happiness. You've done the internal work to understand what truly fulfills you, and now the universe is delivering exactly that. This could manifest as a major professional achievement that brings not just money, but genuine pride. A relationship that finally mirrors the love you've been giving yourself. A creative project that finds its audience. Or a lifestyle change that aligns with your authentic values. The Nine of Cups wants you to know that it's safe to feel good about what's coming. It's safe to acknowledge your own success. This isn't the time for false humility or downplaying your wins. This is your moment to recognize that you've earned every bit of the joy flowing toward you. Moving into the next card, I pulled Judgment, and the energy shifted dramatically when this appeared. Judgment is one of those cards people often misunderstand, thinking it's about being judged by others, but what I'm seeing is so much more profound. This is about awakening, about resurrection, about rising from the ashes of who you used to be and stepping into a completely new version of yourself. The traditional imagery shows figures rising from their graves, answering a divine call, being reborn into a higher state of consciousness. What this tells me is that you're experiencing a massive spiritual and practical awakening right now. Something that felt dead is coming back to life. An opportunity you thought you'd lost is being resurrected. A version of yourself that got buried under expectations and survival mode is clawing its way back to the surface. The energy I'm picking up is that this isn't gentle or gradual. This is sudden, undeniable, impossible to ignore. It feels like there's been a cosmic alarm clock going off in your life, and you can't hit snooze anymore. You're being called to step up, to answer a higher purpose, to recognize that you're meant for something bigger than the safe, small life you might have been settling for. What's particularly powerful about judgment appearing right after the Nine of Cups is that it shows your wish fulfillment isn't just about personal gratification. This is about you stepping into your destiny, fulfilling your soul's purpose, becoming who you were always meant to be. I'm getting this strong sense that some of you have been experiencing synchronicities, seeing repeated numbers, having dreams that feel prophetic, getting downloads of insight that seem to come from nowhere. That's judgment energy. That's the universe sending you undeniable signs that it's time to rise, to transform, to shed every outdated version of yourself and claim your power. This could manifest as sudden clarity about your life path, an opportunity that feels fated and perfectly timed, a reunion with someone or something from your past that carries important lessons, or a moment of reckoning where you finally face truths you've been avoiding. Judgment is asking you to evaluate your life with radical honesty and make the necessary changes to align with your highest timeline. You're being reborn, Capricorn, and there's no going back to who you were before. The third card is the Five of Cups, and I know this might seem contradictory after the incredibly positive energy we've been seeing. But stay with me because this card is essential to understanding your complete story. When I pulled the Five of Cups, I immediately felt this undercurrent of grief, of disappointment, of looking at what was lost instead of what remains. The imagery shows a cloaked figure focused on 3 spilled cups while 2 full cups stand behind them, unnoticed. There's a bridge in the background leading to a new destination, but the figure hasn't turned around to see it yet. What this tells me is that part of your triumph involves releasing grief over what didn't work out the way you planned. It feels like you've been carrying disappointment, maybe about a relationship that ended, a career path that didn't pan out, a dream that died, a betrayal that cut deep. You've been so focused on what you lost that you haven't fully recognized what you still have and what's still possible. Here's what's really interesting about the Five of Cups appearing in this reading about triumph and prosperity. This card is showing you that your breakthrough requires you to turn around, to shift your focus, to acknowledge your losses without letting them define your future. I'm picking up that for many of you, there's been a specific disappointment that's been coloring everything else in your life. Every new opportunity gets filtered through the lens of that old pain. Every potential win gets diminished because you're still mourning what didn't happen. The Five of Cups is here to tell you that it's time to grieve fully and then move forward. Your triumph isn't about pretending the losses didn't hurt. It's about integrating the wisdom from what fell apart and using it to build something better. This could manifest as finally letting go of resentment towards someone who wronged you, releasing attachment to a specific outcome that's no longer available, forgiving yourself for perceived failures, or acknowledging that some doors needed to close so better ones could open. What the cards want you to know is that those 2 standing cups represent real, valuable possibilities that you can't access while you're still fixated on the spilled ones. The bridge represents the journey forward, and you're being called to cross it even though part of you wants to stay and guard the ruins of what used to be. Let yourself feel the loss, honor what it taught you, and then turn around and walk toward what's waiting. Now we move to the Seven of Pentacles, and when this card appeared, I felt this patient, contemplative energy settle over the reading. The Seven of Pentacles shows a farmer leaning on their tool, looking at the crops they've planted, assessing the growth, evaluating the harvest to come. This is the card of patience paying off, of long-term investment showing results, of strategic planning coming to fruition. What strikes me most is the timing of this card in your reading. After the Nine of Cups promising wish fulfillment, judgment calling you to transformation, and the Five of Cups processing grief, the Seven of Pentacles appears to say that everything you've been cultivating is about to yield results. The energy I'm picking up is that you've been in a long season of planting, watering, tending, and waiting. You've put in consistent effort without seeing immediate returns. You've trusted the process even when the ground looked barren. You've invested your time, energy, resources, and faith into something that required patience you didn't always feel you had. And now, Capricorn, you're at that crucial moment of assessment before the harvest. You're looking at what you've built and realizing it's actually working. The seeds are becoming plants. The plants are bearing fruit. The investment is generating returns. I'm getting this strong sense that for many of you, this relates to a career or business venture you've been developing for months or even years. You didn't expect overnight success. You knew this was a marathon, not a sprint. But there were moments when you wondered if you were wasting your time, if you should quit and try something else, if the results would ever come. The Seven of Pentacles is here to confirm that your patience and strategic approach are about to pay off in tangible, measurable ways. This could manifest as a promotion that recognizes your consistent performance, a business that finally reaches profitability, a creative project that gains traction after months of obscurity, or an investment that starts yielding returns. What's particularly powerful is that this isn't luck. This is the natural consequence of your disciplined, methodical approach to building something sustainable. You didn't cut corners. You didn't chase quick wins at the expense of long-term stability. You planted the right seeds in the right soil at the right time, and now you're about to reap what you've sown. The farmer in the card isn't frantically working anymore. They're standing back, observing, trusting that nature will complete what they started. That's where you are right now. The hard work is done. The waiting is almost over. The harvest is coming. The fifth card that came through is the Three of Cups, and the energy completely shifted when I pulled this card. After the contemplative, patient energy of the Seven of Pentacles, the Three of Cups bursts forth with celebration, community, and joyful connection. The imagery shows three figures raising their cups in celebration, dancing together, honoring shared success and mutual support. What this tells me is that your triumph isn't happening in isolation. You're surrounded by people who genuinely want to celebrate with you, who have supported your journey, who are thrilled to see you win. It feels like you've been somewhat isolated in your struggle, handling challenges alone, not wanting to burden others with your doubts or fears. But as your breakthrough unfolds, you're discovering or rediscovering a circle of people who truly have your back. I'm picking up that this could manifest in several ways. For some of you, this is about friendships that were strained during your difficult period now being restored and strengthened. For others, this is about finding your tribe, connecting with people who share your values and vision, joining communities that elevate and inspire you. For some, this is about romantic relationships that feel equal and celebratory rather than draining and complicated. What's really beautiful about the Three of Cups appearing in this reading is that it shows your success amplifies when shared. Your joy multiplies when witnessed by people who genuinely love you. Your triumph becomes even more meaningful when celebrated in community. I'm getting this strong sense that you've been holding back from fully expressing your excitement about what's unfolding because you're worried about how others will react. Maybe you've dealt with jealousy or competitiveness in the past. Maybe you've learned to downplay your wins to make others comfortable. But the Three of Cups is giving you permission to be fully, unapologetically joyful. The right people will celebrate you without reservation. The right people will raise their cups alongside yours. The right people will dance with you rather than rain on your parade. This card also suggests collaborative opportunities that bring both profit and pleasure. You might be joining forces with others on a project that's equally lucrative and enjoyable. You might be entering business partnerships that feel more like friendships. You might be discovering that success doesn't require sacrificing connection and that you can have both achievement and authentic relationships. Celebrate yourself, Capricorn, and let others celebrate you too. Moving forward, I pulled the Tower, and I felt the intensity of this card immediately. I know the Tower has a reputation that makes people nervous, but in the context of this reading about triumph and last-minute changes, this card is absolutely essential. The Tower shows a structure being struck by lightning, crumbling, with figures falling from it. This represents sudden upheaval, dramatic change, the destruction of what was built on false foundations. But here's what I'm seeing in your reading. The Tower isn't coming to destroy your success. The Tower is the mechanism through which your breakthrough occurs. The energy I'm picking up is that something in your life that seemed stable, secure, and permanent is being or has recently been completely dismantled. This could be a job you thought was secure, a relationship you thought was forever, a belief system you thought was unshakable, a living situation you thought was permanent. The destruction felt sudden, shocking, possibly devastating in the moment. But what the cards are showing me is that this tower moment was absolutely necessary for your triumph. That structure needed to fall because it was limiting your growth, constraining your potential, keeping you locked in a version of reality that was too small for who you're becoming. I'm getting this strong sense that many of you experienced your tower moment recently, and you're still processing the shock of it. You might be wondering how something you trusted so completely could collapse so suddenly. You might be angry at yourself for not seeing the cracks earlier. You might be grieving the security you thought you had. But Capricorn, what if this destruction is the last-minute change the title references? What if this tower moment is actually clearing space for the powerful triumph that's rushing toward you? Sometimes the universe has to demolish our limitations because we would never voluntarily leave them. Sometimes our safe structures become our prisons, and we need the lightning strike to set us free. The tower in your reading suggests that what's being destroyed wasn't serving your highest good anyway. It might have felt comfortable, familiar, and safe, but it was also keeping you stuck, small, and unfulfilled. This could manifest as a sudden job loss that forces you into entrepreneurship you've been too scared to try, a breakup that liberates you from a dynamic that was slowly draining your life force, a health crisis that demands you finally prioritize your well-being, or a financial setback that teaches you resourcefulness and reveals your true strength. The lightning that strikes the tower is divine intervention. It's the universe saying, you deserve better than this, and I'm going to make sure you get it, even if it means tearing down everything you thought you needed. The seventh card is the Lovers, and when this appeared after the tower, I understood the complete arc of your transformation. The Lovers isn't just about romantic relationships, though it can include that. This is the card of choice, alignment, values, and union. The imagery shows two figures standing beneath an angel, representing divine blessing on a sacred choice. What this tells me is that after the tower has cleared away what wasn't meant for you, you're now being presented with a significant choice that will determine your path forward. The energy I'm sensing suggests that this isn't a choice between good and bad, right and wrong. This is a choice between two potentially positive paths, and you must decide based on your deepest values and authentic truth. I'm picking up that for many of you, this choice relates to how you rebuild after your tower moment. Do you reconstruct something similar to what fell apart, or do you build something completely new? Do you try to return to the familiar, or do you leap into the unknown? Do you choose based on external expectations, or do you honor your internal knowing? The Lovers is here to remind you that whatever you choose, it must align with your soul's truth. You cannot make this decision based on fear, obligation, or what others think you should do. This has to come from the deepest part of you that knows what's right for your journey. What's particularly powerful about the Lovers appearing in this reading about triumph is that it shows your success is directly linked to the choices you make right now. Your prosperity flows from alignment. Your victory comes from choosing authenticity over approval. I'm getting this strong sense that one path looks safer, more acceptable, easier to explain to others. The other path looks riskier, more unconventional, harder to justify logically. But your soul knows which one is yours. Your intuition is screaming the answer. The Lovers asks you to trust that inner knowing even when the outer world questions it. This could manifest as choosing between a corporate job and starting your own business, choosing between a comfortable relationship and being single to discover yourself, choosing between staying in your hometown and moving somewhere that calls to your spirit, or choosing between pleasing your family and living your truth. The angel in the card represents divine support for whichever path aligns with your authentic self. You're not alone in this choice. You're being guided, supported, blessed. All you have to do is choose what feels true, even if it doesn't feel safe. The eighth card that came through is the Three of Wands, and I felt this expansive, forward-looking energy when I pulled this. The Three of Wands shows a figure standing on a cliff, looking out at ships on the horizon, waiting for their ventures to return with profit. This is the card of expansion, foresight, planning, and expecting results from efforts already set in motion. What strikes me most about this card appearing now is that it shows you're not just recovering from your tower moment or making choices in the Lovers. You're actively expanding, planning for bigger horizons, setting your sights on opportunities you couldn't have imagined in your old structure. It feels like you're in a visionary space right now. You're thinking bigger than you've allowed yourself to think in years. You're seeing possibilities that were invisible to you before. You're recognizing that what fell apart was actually constraining your expansion. And now that those limitations are gone, you can see how much more is available to you. I'm getting this strong sense that some of you are making plans that feel almost too ambitious, too bold, too much. You're questioning whether you're being realistic or setting yourself up for disappointment, but the Three of Wands is here to confirm that your vision isn't too big, your ambition isn't unrealistic, your plans aren't foolish. In fact, you might still be thinking too small. The ships on the horizon represent ventures, investments, and efforts that are already returning with abundance. This could manifest as business opportunities expanding into new markets, creative projects reaching audiences beyond your local sphere, relationships that have long-distance or international elements, or travel and relocation that opens entirely new chapters. What's particularly exciting is that the Three of Wands suggests you've already done the groundwork. You've already set things in motion. You're not starting from scratch. You're in the waiting period before manifestation, and what's coming back to you is going to exceed your expectations. This card wants you to maintain your vision, trust your strategy, and prepare to receive on a scale that matches your newly expanded consciousness. You're not playing small anymore, Capricorn. You're stepping into your power as a creator, a visionary, someone who builds empires rather than just careers. The cliff you're standing on represents the higher perspective you've gained through everything you've been through. From this vantage point, you can see further than ever before. Use that vision. Trust what you see. Act on it. The ninth card is Ace of Wands, and when I pulled this card, I felt this surge of creative, passionate, initiatory energy flood the reading. The Ace of Wands shows a hand emerging from a cloud, offering a living wand sprouting with leaves, representing new beginnings, inspiration, creative spark, and passionate pursuit. What this tells me is that even as you're waiting for your Three of Wands ventures to return, you're also being offered a completely new beginning in the realm of creativity, passion, or enterprise. It feels like this is a divinely timed opportunity that feels exciting, slightly scary, and absolutely right. This isn't something you've been planning or expecting. This is a fresh spark of inspiration that ignites something in you that's been dormant. I'm picking up that for many of you, this Ace of Wands represents a creative or business idea that comes to you suddenly, fully formed, begging to be brought into reality. You might wake up with a vision so clear it feels like it was downloaded directly into your consciousness. You might have a conversation that sparks an idea you can't stop thinking about. You might encounter an opportunity that feels like it was designed specifically for you. What's really powerful about the Ace of Wands appearing so late in this reading is that it shows your triumph isn't a single event or achievement. This is the beginning of a completely new cycle of growth, creation, and manifestation. Just when you thought you'd reached the destination, the universe hands you a new wand and says, "Now let's see what else you can create." This could manifest as starting a business you've always dreamed about, beginning a creative project that channels your unique gifts, initiating a relationship that reignites your passion for life, or pursuing a path that finally feels aligned with your authentic self. The Ace of Wands wants you to seize this opportunity with both hands. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't let fear of failure paralyze you. This is your moment to be bold, to trust your instincts, to leap before you're ready. The wand is sprouting with life, showing that this idea has vitality, that this path has growth potential, that this venture will flourish if you give it the energy and attention it deserves. All aces are gifts from the universe, and this one is no exception. This is divine timing meeting divine inspiration, meeting divine opportunity. Say yes, Capricorn. Say yes before you know how it's all going to work out. Say yes because your soul is already celebrating what this will become. The final card in your reading is the Queen of Swords, and when this card appeared as the culmination of everything we've seen, I understood exactly who you're becoming through this powerful triumph. The Queen of Swords sits on her throne with a sword raised, her gaze clear and penetrating, her demeanor combining wisdom, discernment, and uncompromising truth. This is someone who has been through battles, who has cut through illusions, who has learned to think clearly even in emotional storms. What this tells me is that your triumph transforms you into someone who cannot be manipulated, deceived, or swayed from their truth. It feels like you're stepping into a version of yourself that values clarity over comfort, truth over popularity, authenticity over acceptance. The Queen of Swords has learned that being nice isn't always being kind, that setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, that saying no is sometimes the most honest yes you can give yourself. I'm getting this strong sense that part of your transformation involves developing sharper discernment about people, situations, and opportunities. You're no longer willing to ignore red flags for the sake of keeping the peace. You're no longer interested in relationships that require you to diminish yourself. You're no longer available for dynamics where you're expected to carry all the emotional labor. The Queen of Swords represents someone who has integrated both their intellect and their intuition, who can see through facades and half-truths, who speaks directly and expects the same from others. This could manifest as becoming more selective about where you invest your energy, ending relationships that drain more than they nourish, communicating your needs and expectations clearly, or building a life that reflects your values rather than others' expectations. What's particularly powerful about the Queen of Swords appearing as your final card is that it shows your triumph isn't just about external success. This is about internal sovereignty. This is about becoming someone who rules their own kingdom with wisdom, clarity, and unshakable self-trust. You're not waiting for permission anymore. You're not seeking validation anymore. You're not shrinking to make others comfortable anymore. You are the Queen of Swords. Clear-eyed, sharp-minded, and utterly uninterested in anything less than absolute truth and authentic connection. This is who you become when you survive the tower, make aligned choices in the Lovers, expand your vision in the Three of Wands, and seize divine opportunities in the Ace of Wands. You emerge sovereign, wise, discerning, and completely at peace with who you are. So Capricorn, as we close this reading, let everything we've explored sink in. The Nine of Cups showed your wishes manifesting. Judgment revealed a powerful awakening. The Five of Cups acknowledged grief while pointing to possibilities you haven't noticed yet. The Seven of Pentacles confirmed that your patient investments are yielding results. The Three of Cups promised joyful celebration and authentic community. The Tower explained the necessary destruction that clears space for your breakthrough. The Lovers presented a choice that must align with your deepest truth. The Three of Wands showed expansive vision and ventures returning with abundance. The Ace of Wands offered a fresh beginning and creative spark. And the Queen of Swords revealed the sovereign, clear-minded person you're becoming through all of this. Your triumph is multifaceted, unexpected, and absolutely deserved. The last-minute changes that seemed devastating are actually divine intervention redirecting you towards something far better than what you'd settled for. The prosperity flowing toward you isn't just financial, though that's included. This is prosperity of spirit, clarity of purpose, authenticity of expression, and alignment of action. Everything you've been through has prepared you for this moment. Every loss taught you discernment. Every disappointment strengthened your resilience. Every tower moment cleared space for expansion. And now, Capricorn, You're standing at the threshold of a completely new chapter where you get to create from a place of wisdom, power, and absolute truth. Trust the process, honor your journey, celebrate your wins, and step fully into the triumphant, prosperous, clear-minded sovereign you were always meant to be.